It's me. I'm just adjusting the shot. So I wanted to just say one thing, and that is that after the last taping that we did about what is ascension, hyperspace. Someone said, "What is hyperspace?" It is a higher space time in a way. It's kind of a paradox to say time, but it's a higher, faster moving space time where the atomic mass, molecular mass, is stripping away its weight, its mass, in order to bring the observer, like when we do Merkaba, into higher space time to manifest. We said this is how we use it, for example. Okay, so when we have things like the sky goddess Newt, which was a past life of mine, sky goddess Newt. If you look, it is a continuation of Hathor information. So if you look at the Dendera temple of Hathor, which was my past life with Horus the Elder, who's my son reincarnated, um, this is why I know the Eye of Horus teaching and can decode the Egyptian tombs and things and understand what it means because I was some of these people. And I present the information, and those who study it, who are also there, may be able to remember and decode some of their own lifetimes better as well. And so we'll have more information about what we all came here to do way back when, and to understand the Egyptian eras a lot better, what it actually meant. Some of the writings on the walls of the great pharaohs that lived, some of who we were. So, uh, moving back to what we were talking about, uh, when you have pictures on the tomb walls, like the sky goddess Nut, that is covered in stars and is the night sky, and her body is shown as this, bent over the others. What it means is what I was talking about, that there's beautiful, shimmering, golden, and other color, rosy and UV particulate that is curled up, and it is basically subatomic particles that are curled up. And when you are doing Merkaba, for example, it strips its mass, sheds it, and it begins to glow into transparent, golden light, free. It's enduring. It's very, very lovely. So that is enfolded into our flesh through anchoring into the mere matter that is holding the subatomic particles, like stars in the night sky, against the gravitational force of the negative space of our bodies, which is what we are made from. So that is the decoding of the Newt painting, which is very, very glorious because they all had encoded information about the initiations of the great Egyptian pharaohs that they would teach their people, and where they would know the science of the great phenomenon that in the ancient civilization language is mostly depicted in visual, beautiful symbols of artwork, and in their hieroglyphs that have to be correctly interpreted because they are largely misinterpreted as their religion, worship of the sun or whatever it was, which it was not a religion. They understood the nuclear force of the sun, that we also have that brilliant, strong force that goes beyond electromagnetism, photon light information, like what is sent during the work of the camera eye for, say, Order of the Day Petit Cafe, where you're manifesting something. That's higher stuff that we learned in the live event. So you begin to use camera eye to psychically see information. And we use it all the time to navigate our quantum field and each other. Uh, so that is, it's higher than photon light, even what the Newt garment is depicting. And so there is a lot of decoding of work I have done from the Egyptian lifetimes that I have lived. I continue to work on that. And some of it is in my movies as well. So, yes, it's going to be very, very interesting because the movies are based on historical fact from remote view, back in time, remembering really way, way long ago to lifetimes that I've had. I can decode others' lives, but it takes me longer and it is much more grueling than writing about my own. So that's what I've been doing. And I invite other people too who study blue matrix energetics to go on their own journey of uh, one day solving who they may have been in history of an important contribution to help us decode some of our historical and archaeological records to modern understanding of actual information about what this all was, because uh, there are some governments who have some of it, and there are papers that have written and whatnot. But the actual decoding, like what they were doing in Freemasonry and whatnot, to have an understanding of the master builders war and everything, it is actually really a large part of the work that I've done in blue matrix energetics decoding and depicting my own contribution and what my own lives and archives meant. And it is not bound under the construct of Freemasonry. It's blue matrix energetics, so it is more up to date and modern than what the lodge has done. And it's interesting because if you look at the Marilyn Monroe little blog that I did that is linked to from the Starlight State blog and from the Ariana Hudson Google Plus page and the Marilyn Monroe uh, reincarnated for real, the Marilyn Monroe reincarnated page. Uh, she was actually a member of the Freemasons as well, uh, through, well, her father, I think, had some involvement as well. So it's interesting because that is where the beginnings of all of this occurred in my past life. And then I expounded and developed the energy science theory and all of the things that have been presented thus far, which are coming up in the live event to a much greater understanding and detail, like what some of the last videos that I presented did. So I wanted to comment on that so you had an understanding about the significance and the importance of that.